Good evening. It's a Friday, Orange Friday. I'm partially orange. This is Wetzel. Little picks from Joe's. A little bye week, as we said in the title, a little bye week bullshit. Do have an orange hat on. This is actually from Old Head in Ireland. Got to take a trip there in the spring with a local golfing buddy here who turned 40 this year, kid. And he's terrible. He sucks at golf. He's lucky if I don't know, lucky if he breaks 110. I think the best score I've ever seen, I've ever witnessed him shooting was like a 105. Oh no, I take that back. He shot 100 in Ireland at Ballybunion, of all places, the championship course at Ballybunion. He shot 100. He almost broke 100. Best score he's ever shot on one of the hardest courses he's ever played. But he's the one who decided he wanted to go to Ireland. We went there for a week, played 8 rounds in 5 days, and it was fantastic. Old Head was, as a golf course, I wouldn't say it's like, oh my God, it's the most spectacular golf course ever, but the views are just ridiculous. It's out on like a peninsula all by itself, and the cliffs and the view. Well, anyway, I digress into that. Bye week picks from Joe's. Who knows? I'll cross my fingers that maybe somebody else will poke their head in like King or Oklahoma. We'll see. I'll keep sending them the link to see if they jump in. And like the description on the thing says, who the hell knows what we're going to talk about? I have to go off on this. I saw a tweet. Somebody retweeted something a little while ago that essentially it was a young student. I don't know, male or female. Well, Barnard's female college, or it was, might be mixed now. I don't know. It's been a long time. Not too far from here. Probably maybe a couple hours. Maybe. I used to live pretty close there. It's up in the Poughkeepsie area, and so a young student. Again, I don't know, male or female, told whoever said this to them. Someone said to them, I guess they're leaving the school, and someone said to this student, said, well, get home safe. Imagine that, get home safe. And the student said that this was an example of microaggression. Are we that fucked up? Are we? Because, if we are, then there's no, as far as I'm concerned, then elect Trump. Doesn't matter. That'll be my kind of political statement of the night, and it's, that'll it. I'll stay away from that. Microaggression, we need to have a term, microaggression. What is macroaggression? What the hell? A microaggression. That sounds more like passive aggressive to me. I'm being aggressive. I'm showing aggression, but not really. It's small. It's a micro. It's very, very tiny. Do I need a microscope to see this aggression? What kind of crap are we talking about, people? Seriously. This is a young student, very impressionable. Listen, I remember getting into school and getting involved, instructors who somehow or other touched on a passion or found that nerve, for you as a student that kind of lit your fire. All right. If you're lucky, I was lucky enough to finally find that in college, or I probably never would have graduated. And if you're lucky enough, you'll find you've found that, or you've had that experience, whether it was college or high school or whatever, and you're very impressionable. And that teacher, whatever that instructor, professor, teacher said was like gold. So I can just imagine this this student, microaggression, telling you get home safe, suddenly turned into this is a microaggression. What the fuck is that? You know what? Here's the definition of macroaggression. Fuck Baylor. How's that? For you right there. Let's hop into some games here real quick. Let's see. Only 4 games. Obviously, Oklahoma State's on a bye, and who the hell else? Who am I missing here? Kansas, Oklahoma, Baylor, Kansas, Texas, TCU. TCU and OSU are on a bye this week. Couldn't happen at a better time for Oklahoma State, but I'll talk about that more in a minute. Of the 4 games, by far and away, I think the worst game is, Kansas. Whatever Kansas is playing is the worst game. It's Kansas at Baylor. They're probably going to get absolutely hosed. If they were playing in Lawrence, listen, they gave TCU a real run for their money in Lawrence. TCU was flat. They were coming in flat after the big loss against OU. Came in flat. In KU, I'll give Beatty some credit. He's got them, playing hard. And KU sure enough gave them a hassle till the very end, and had opportunities to ice the game or win it or whatever. So Kansas at Baylor, the line is 35 points. 35 points. Over under 67.5. I think I'm taking Baylor and the over. Because if what they could do to Kansas could make what their athletes did to all those female students look like they were holding hands. How's that? There's some macro fucking aggression for you right there. All right. I'm into macro aggression tonight. No microaggression. Let's go macro aggression. So shit game. It's going to be the 3:30 game. So the afternoon game, the afternoon Big 12 game. The slate tomorrow sucks for the Big 12. You got 2 12 o'clock games. The afternoon game sucks. It's horrible. And then the night game you can't even watch unless you have the Shithorn Network. All right. So, all right. So the worst game of the day is Kansas at Baylor. That should be an absolute massacre. Number 3 game is the game most of us won't even get to watch. Texas, actually a game I'd like to watch. Because I'd love to see Iowa State beat Texas. There's just a lot of justice involved in that. Iowa State at Texas. Apparently, Charlie Strong had a meeting with the players where he basically gave them, permission to speak freely, sir. And there was fireworks. Now, I haven't seen anything else. I didn't read anything on that. I didn't, maybe the article that mentioned that went deeper. I didn't bother reading it. Just that there might be fireworks. That's just, fire Charlie, let somebody hold the team's hand to the rest of the season. Get it over with, please. You guys are an absolute train wreck, and I don't disagree with Kirk Herbstreit at all. When a place acts like that's the place everybody should want to come, and that they can just go get whatever coach. They should be able to go get whatever coach and whatever athlete they want. Fuck you. Seriously? People, you've been shit for most of the last, 30 years of football, and you had a good streak, great streak. You won a national championship. That's fantastic. And it took you about 2 minutes to turn on the coach who got you there, or I'll say who got you there, who ended up being the coach when you won it. Because there are folks who would claim that Mac Brown lived off the recruiting of, Makovic, who was there before him. But you guys are a friggin' train wreck with that crap, man. I mean, you want to see how something goes on? Watch what happens with Boone Pickens opens his stupid fucking old man billionaire mouth. All right? Open your mouth when you shouldn't open it. Look what OSU fans did. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Shut up. All right? You've got a coach. He's not perfect, but he's likely, in this day and age, the best coach the school's going to have. And he's obviously demonstrated the ability to build a program, yes, with the help of your money. That's fantastic. But you're not coaching the team. Texas got all the money in the world. All the money in the world, people. Look at the shit show that is. All right, so give Gundy a tremendous amount of credit for not only building a program, but doing it right and keeping the slate clean. Okay. That is the one thing that goes on there. And if he's running a tight ship and that's the way he wants to run it, fine. Look, we're going to bust his chops. We're fans. That does come with the territory. But you want to start trouble, Gundy, what kind of crap? I mean, Gundy has trouble with maintaining relationships. That's like this presidential election. Stop talking about all these indiscretions. Just deal with the friggin' facts, because these are the two candidates you're going to get. All right. You can yap all you want about Donald Trump and how disgusting he is. And make no mistake, he's a disgusting human being. All right. Disgusting. But he's the candidate. He's the guy. He's the dude out there you're going to have to vote for or not vote for. Hillary's out there, and she could be disgusting. I am no great fan of Hillary. All right. Before anybody starts trashing me about this, I'm no great fan of Hillary. All right. But the things about her that bother me are not nearly as nuclear as the things about Trump that just make me ill. Okay. So let's talk about the issues. All right. And not about all this indiscretion crap. Okay. That's literally what Boone Pickens did. This is about football. It's about a football program. And he wants to bring up that Mike Gundy can't maintain a relationship. Dude, your milk of magnesia, whatever the hell you do, wear your Depends, whip out your AARP card. Well, you probably don't need to for the senior discount at the movie theater, but just give your money, support your school, and go do whatever. Go make your billions. That's what you're good at. Okay. You're not good at running a football program. So give your money. You want your program to succeed. They're trying their best. All right. We're not Alabama. All right. Not Ohio State. Okay. We're not one of those institutions. So you shouldn't expect us to be like that. And I don't want to be like that, because you've seen the fan activity that comes along with being like Texas. Please, don't want it. All right, there we go. Now I'm ranting. It's Friday night, and I've had too many Dos Equis, so I'm ranting a little bit. But yeah, I mean, here's Iowa State at Texas. I'd love to watch that, and it's on that network, man. That network. That stinks. Going to be a warm one, 90 degrees in Austin, Texas. Game's 7 o'clock Saturday night. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Kansas at Baylor, 836 tickets available on StubHub, starting at $39. Iowa State at Texas. Texas is favored by 14 points. Over under 70.5. How about that? Over under is more. Higher there. That line's kind of interesting. I mean, Iowa State on the road, Texas, good running game. I don't know. That's a weird line. Weird line. That's one of those deals where, you probably get sucked in because OSU had to come back to beat Iowa State and can't cover. So you think, oh, Iowa State, let's jump on Iowa State and 14 points, and Texas is probably going to run the ball for like 8,000 yards. Weird line. Don't like the over-under, though. You're talking 70.5 points. So you're talking, OSU, Iowa State was 38-31, 69. Texas better offense than Oklahoma State. Are they a better defense? I don't know. Hard to say there. I'm having a hard time with that one. Again, that's 7 o'clock. Longhorn Network, 473 tickets available, starting at $44. And second game on the slate, it's an intriguing game. And of course, the two games I'm most intrigued by are at noon Eastern, and my son's got a soccer game at noon Eastern. And before anybody out there says, well, watch the game, I'll be paying attention to my son's soccer team because they're undefeated, tied for first place. And my son has scored at least one goal in every game. So I'm going to be paying attention to that. You got noon, Kansas State at OU. The line is minus 13.5. That's moved to half a point since this afternoon. I was on the phone with a guy from work, and we were BSing about this a little bit. And he says, I'll take OU in the point. I was like, I don't like the line. Kansas State, if it was in Manhattan, I'd take OU and lay the points, because OU, every time you think is good enough to give OU a problem, when they play them in Manhattan, they get blasted. And if you think back to what the times K-State has given OU the most trouble, at least recently, maybe my memory screwed up with this, but I think Norman. So OU coming off, back-to-back big games. I don't know. I mean, Texas coming off a big game against OU, so Iowa State, and they're laying 14, which I don't like. OU coming off back-to-back big games at home. Kansas State, man, the Purple Wizard, friggin' that dude. All right. He figures out how to make things happen with the team that's got literally probably the least amount. They probably have slightly more offensive talent than Kansas. All right. Maybe I don't know that they have more offensive talent than Iowa State. And Bill Snyder figures out somehow how to make that stuff work. So the line this afternoon was 14. It's dropped to 13.5. I made a bet with my buddy at work for a good sandwich someplace, lunch basically. I took Kansas State and laid the points. Over-under's 58.5. Wow, that's an interesting over-unders. Low for the Big 12, but if you saw what Kansas State did with Texas Tech, last week, that's an intriguing. It is on the road, so it's I don't know about the over-under. I might stay away from that. But that line, I'm inclined to go with Kansas State in the line. They've played Oklahoma tough in Norman, at least from my recent memory, better than they played them in Manhattan. But that game's on ESPN noon, so the dreaded 11 a.m. kickoff that everybody, especially OU fans, hate, the 11 a.m. kickoff. This is a couple weeks in a row now they've had it. Excuse me. And the other noon game, which I think is the best game of the day, obviously in the Big 12, West Virginia ranked number 20 at Texas Tech. West Virginia's undefeated, 1-0 in the Big 12, coming off a bye week. I think they're coming off a bye week. And you got Texas Tech coming off a tough win on the road at Kansas State. Wait a minute, Kansas State, they're 1-1. Who the hell did Texas Tech lose to? Am I that? How? I tell you what a moron. I can't even figure that out. Am I that asleep? Good Lord. Where are we here? You mean I can't figure that out? I can't remember. That's how much I'm paying attention. I don't even know who they lost to. Let's go to week 6. We'll tell you real quick. Oh, right. Kansas State did beat Texas Tech. Hey, there you go. And Kansas State lost to TCU. They lose to TCU. Let's go back to week 5. How about that? I can't even keep tracking anything. They lost to West Virginia. Right. Lost to West Virginia. How about that? I have no idea what I'm talking about. So this is pretty interesting as far as get back to the hangout here. This is, I think that's a very intriguing game. West Virginia at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's got enough offense to give somebody trouble. The problem is they've got absolutely zero defense. Zero. How can you not have defense? I just don't understand that. I mean, I tweeted out, doesn't Cliff Kingsbury understand he's allowed to recruit Division I athletes to play defense? I mean, what the heck? West Virginia is sitting there kind of sneaky. The line in West Virginia's laying 2, so it's pretty much a toss-up. Toss-up game. The over-under is 85. And I'd be wary of that. 85, you're talking about 42-42. The over, K-State was 44-38. 44-38, that's 82 points. And that's with Kansas State, who's got shit for offense. So I might take the over. In this game. And I probably would take West Virginia to win straight up. They got to prove it. I'm kind of on the fence with it. I mean, they got to prove it to me. They're undefeated. They're kind of sitting there quiet. But have they really done much? They did beat K-State, but they struggled hard with K-State. They beat K-State 17-16, which ought to make all the Oklahoma State people real happy to be going to Manhattan this year with the team we've got and the way that their games are going. Oh, God, kill me now. So that game's noon on Fox Sports 1, FS1. We're looking at 730 tickets available. Start at $20. Reasonable ticket if you're in the Lubbock area. You got to go to the game. It's going to be, I think, going to be a good, awful good football game. And West Virginia wins, man. They're sitting in, they're sitting in the driver's seat along with Baylor. That's, I mean, Baylor. What do you say? What more do you say? I mean, you talk about just an absolute, just ass. It's just a pile of ass down there. Tone deaf, completely tone deaf. I just can't say. They shouldn't be playing football. Should not be playing football. SMU is a private school, got the death penalty. Why is Baylor? I mean, please, somebody tell me there's going to be an investigation. The NCAA, something, please. There's just no. College football is down the drain as far as I'm concerned, with zero integrity. Whatever they thought they had, what little they thought they had, would be completely gone if nothing happens to Baylor. I mean, come on, please. So OSU gets the bye week. Thank God they have the bye week. And thank God they have Kansas next week, because I'm telling you right now, this team's going to come out flat. They're going to come out flat. Absolutely flat. On the road, they've struggled. In Lawrence, last couple of road trips up there. So, if you remember, they played that crap game 3-4 years ago. Yeah, right. 2012, the crap game. J.W. Walsh was playing. It was horrible weather, and OSU barely won. Needed some defensive plays at the end to walk out of there with a win. And then Dax Garman, year 2014. So it was 2012, 2014, where if not for Tyreek Hill and his kickoff return, that game was in trouble, and still needed the defensive play, to hold on. So this team is, I'm telling you, they're going to come out flat. They're a little banged up. You've got a starting offensive lineman who's going to be out for quite a period of time. So, who knows? It's they need the week off. And I'll tell you why Gundy's feeling good about where they are right now. It's because the rest of the Big 12 is a shit show. You got, Baylor, whatever. Baylor. West Virginia, not a juggernaut. Baylor, I think, is going to lose. They're going to lose at least a game. They're losing at least a game. Maybe. The Big 12 is tough. I think it'd be all about schedule and all about, what day you catch the Big 12 refs on, and whether or not you survive. But Big 12 champs not going undefeated. I can't believe they'd be going undefeated. I think if they do, Big 12 champ goes undefeated, then it's going to be one of the two obviously undefeated teams now. That's, that doesn't take rocket science to figure that out. But as much as I hate to say it, I think Baylor's probably got the better chance. if they don't have any key injuries, because their depth could be an issue. But if they don't have any key injuries, Baylor's probably got the best chance to go undefeated. But West Virginia's there, and outside of that, I'm sorry, but it's OU. Don't think you're going undefeated with that defense. But again, it depends on schedule, who they catch, when they catch them. It's just hard to say. The Big 12 is a crapshoot. So Oklahoma State's sitting here with one loss. Definitely not out of it. They got to keep playing. But it's going to be stressful. They are not, you might get lucky with a home, kind of a home blowout situation, like, what happened with TCU last year, where they got hot, jumped out early. But yeah, this is going to be a tough deal for the rest of the year. Thank God they had the bye week. I couldn't take the stress anymore. I couldn't take it. Imagine what those kids are feeling. That had to be a absolutely mentally grueling first 6 weeks of the season. Now, how about those 1945 Oklahoma A&M Aggies? Kills me that happens now. I guarantee you my mom, wherever she is, even my dad probably, wherever they are, probably let out a little hoot, little holler when that came out, that they were retroactively awarded a national championship. How funny is that? And as many people tweeted out, how ironic that you can retroactively award a national championship 71 years in arrears, but you can't correct a football game that happened a few weeks ago that was obviously a screw up. Okay. That's hilarious. Just hilarious. My parents obviously they both graduated. I think it was like right at 39, 40 when they both graduated from A&M. My dad used to talk about stories about Bob Fenimore, things about the team, and he talked about what a great season that was, and how they thought when all the veterans came back that was going to be a big deal. But there were also some kind of interesting stories about how the veterans, and when I say veterans, I'm talking about World War II veterans, how they treated Fenimore. Obviously don't know. I have nothing to corroborate it, other than just my dad telling me the story. But there was, apparently some inter-team kind of inter-squad sort of stuff, for lack of a better word, going on, because I think Fenimore wore a number that one of the veterans, Army veterans or war veterans that came back, that was his number before he left, and he wanted it back, and Fenimore wouldn't give it back. And there were some stories about how they treated him that year, and it's interesting. Although he went on to have a pretty good year, and was really strong in the bowl game against St. Mary's. But it just it's interesting to hear about it. It's great to see the tweets and stuff, and read a couple of the stories. It's kind of a trip down memory lane listening to my parents talk about Oklahoma A&M back in the day. And lo and behold, that it was a dual championship, that now 1945 is the year that Oklahoma State not only became the first team to win back-to-back NCAA championships, but would they have been the first team to win both the football and basketball national championships in the same year? So I have to look that up. So anyway, that's it. I'm going to call it a night. Short night for, again, picks from Joe's, bye week bullshit. Everybody be safe this weekend, and no, that's not macro aggression. Okay. Everybody have a good weekend. Be safe. Watch some football tomorrow. Good luck. And we'll look forward to talking to you next week. Have a good one.